Good evening, a warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. We're going to have so much fun exploring a really creative color. And what I'm super excited about tonight is I have a very dear friend, a very special guest, Max Maisano, who is going to show you some amazing color techniques. And you're going to really love these techniques because they're fast, they're powerful, and you can make the money. We love the wow factor, right? So before I bring Max on, I just want to say hi to everybody. And please, in the chat, let me know where you're watching in from. Hi, Robert, Jean, Samantha, Lou, Elaine, Linda, Kim, Misty, Nadine, and there's many more that are coming in. So a warm welcome to you. Please ask questions in the chat tonight. It's about you engaging with us and asking us questions. So we clearly know that the world has so much information out there, it's insane, right? It's overwhelming. But what the world's really yearning for is wisdom. And when you gather information that you can immediately apply and use and see the value in it, and you have someone guiding you as to don't do this, do that, be careful there, cut a big hole, or don't do that, you'll overprocess. It's just really wonderful, isn't it, to find that place where you feel safe and you feel like your life could be transformed. So my mission and my heart tonight is to serve and to guide you. And please forgive my voice. I've been fighting the flu for now my 15th day. So I've been in bed all day trying to nurture myself. So I put on the false eyelashes and here I am. Here I am. So no, I'm not trying to do an impersonation of Minnie Mouse. It's just a squeaky, scratchy voice. So when we're looking at transformation, and let's get into the haircut and the subject tonight, I'm going to bring up an image on the screen. Client brings in a photograph of this gorgeous hairstyle with Keira Knightley, and you just go, oh, that is so pretty. And then you think, what's it like when it's not tucked behind the ear? What is the other side like? I can see there's a beautiful round silhouette in the back. I can see it's tapered into the nape of the neck. But how is the hairstyle? And so how many of you, let me know if you relate, client brings in a photograph and you go, nice. And then you think, well, how's it cut, right? Because it's usually just one angle, right? So when I'm training people, a big part of my training is photography, whether it's going to a real photo shoot or it's just us using our phone to take photographs of our work. I always say to people when we do our lives, and we do tons of lives every week, I say, you've got to photograph this. But what's really important is photographing front, side, and back. And photographically, does it meet the spin test? Does it look as good this way? Does it look as good this way? And how is the back, right? How is it? Because that's the spin test. But I have to tell you, having spent my entire career in photographic studios, so often there's a hero shot. So often the back hasn't been done. So often when you get the images back, you go, oh no, not that one. Oh no, not that one. Oh, her face looks fat there. No, not that one. Oh, let's do that one. And while you're at it, thin down her face, thin down her body, add a bit more hair, and all of a sudden you've got something completely different from what was really there in the studio. And then the client brings that photograph in and says, oh, I think I like my hair just like that. But sometimes there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, because sometimes in a photo studio, you cheat to get the look, because it's all about the end result. Now, a great photograph can work for you while you're asleep. Part of my training is to train you to take great photos that you can build your portfolio. And then, for example, doing this hairstyle tonight, by the end of tonight, I will have photographed a front, a side, and a back. And I will try and mimic the sensibility of this hairstyle. But now I've got something to show a client. Well, this is the inspiration and this is my interpretation. And by the way, this is how the back looks. Do you like it? Oh, no, I don't like the back like that. Oh, I'm glad I'm showing you the back, because we could have a dodgy moment. So how many of you relate to that? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can connect to what I'm saying, that I'm not the only one out there that has that feeling, right? So we're going to reverse engineer this hairstyle. But before I get into that, I want to bring in my very, very special guest. And I'm going to bring in the fabulous Max Maisano, who's going to share with you some magic tonight. Welcome, Max.
Hi, Viv. Thank you so much for having me, and hello to everyone out in our audience.
And he's the magician. He really is. He's definitely the magician. So he's got the magic wand in his hand. I'm going to pass over to Max so he can start to explain the color technique that he's going to do. I'm going to get myself ready with my haircut, and off we jolly well go. Over to you, Max.
All right, so everybody, what we're going to do is a really super fast foil technique. This is going to be anywhere between 8 to 12 foils. And what it creates, or the effect that it creates, is what I like to refer to as a color spill, meaning all the color, you don't see where it starts or stops, but it covers that entire surface of the head. So we're talking minimal effort, minimum foils with maximum impact. And the way you're going to section your doll heads or your clients is with a very, very simple diamond sectioning, which I will show you.
Oh, let me bring in the picture.
Well, even
let me bring in the photo, because you are, I told everyone you're a wizard. Let's just bring in the photos. You can talk about that. Go ahead, man.
So you can see, essentially the hair is parted into 4 quadrants, and you're going to work a diamond shape. So basically center forehead to the crown, top of the head to the top of the ears. And then from that, you're basically going to slice those corners off to create a big diamond on top of the head. And you can see with the arrows, those are foils, and you're actually working around the head in that diamond pattern. And then, so you would outline the first 4 sections with the 4 foils. And then you can see the second set kind of overlap the first and second foil. And then it kind of like wraps itself in almost like a mosaic or like a parquet kind of floor, if that makes sense. So we can get cracking with it if you're ready.
We are very ready. Jolly good.
And her down.
So while you're showing everyone your diamond, I'm just going to show everybody my hairstyle. I'll come in tight so you can all see what I'm doing, and then we'll go back to Max. So in reverse engineering a hairstyle, I've already done this one side. This is a graduated haircut. I think there's going to be a huge return to graduation. Graduation lifts. Graduation can be very soft. And the modern graduation is more layered, more textured, and what the modern graduation actually has is more softness. So this is a precision haircut, 100% with the razor. Actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit at the end. I'll show you something. But this is what I have done so far. So you can see I've got that gorgeous head shape. Max did the color. Later on, when she's completely dry, we'll talk to you about the color technique. I've got the softness here, and I've got a bi-level going on. And what we want to be able to do, which is a little hard on a mannequin, is be able to tuck the hair behind the ear and have some nice soft pieces just falling in front of the face. So we get that lovely softness. I'm now going to do the other side. It's going to be slightly asymmetric. In fact, it's going to be quite asymmetric. So I'm going to come in first of all and look at this length at the ear and put my comb in, and there it is. It's 1 comb's distance. So that when I come on this side, come on, darling, don't jiggle around, right? Just a few minutes before we went live, I put my heater on and my blow dryer. I blew all the fuses in the studio, and I thought, oh no, what's going to happen? I don't want to disappoint you all. It's like, but anyway, I flicked every single switch in the studio, and eventually everything came back on. So that's good news, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm coming to the back of the ear. So I have this V shape. I'm going to just take this hair here and get rid of it for a second. Just bring that back so it doesn't interrupt what I'm going to do. I'm going to now take that piece of hair here, and I said 1 comb's distance underneath. I'm going to twist the hair, and I will go over the why and the how with the razor in a moment. And I'm going to come through mindfully. I've twisted and I'm gliding down. And now I'm going to look at my length here, which is 1 comb's distance. And now I'm going to go from there and drop down. And then from there, I'm going to connect and come backwards. So I show you this one section, then we're going to watch Max work on his technique. So I'm going to come back here. Now, if I hold it down straight, I'm going to get a very different effect to over directing backwards and down. So the Y to the razor, softness, texture, no hard lines, fluidity, and a more of a modern effect. So I've over directed backwards, and now when that drops down, I've got my lovely length there, my little dingle dangle, which is my reference because I saw that in the photograph. I now comb that down and I take that moment to look. And this is where I feel many hairdressers rush into the next part, but they haven't really nailed the very first section. I will, before I even pick up my tools, vogue around the face. And voguing around the face is using my hands to look at what happens when I open and close the client's face, when I shorten the face, and I'm always looking for oval. So once I have vogued around the face and I can see where the balance and the proportion should be, partings, how much height, how much volume, then I can go into mapping my haircut. So you can see there, I've got a nice diagonal line from shorter to longer. This length is the same as the other side, but now I'm going to drop this down. And in dropping this down, again, I have to go back to my first side and ask myself, well, what did I do there? Because, you know, it's always a miracle when the sides match, isn't it? So here I over-directed the hair forwards and down. So where's my focal point? I'm touching the earlobe. My fingers are almost straight to the shoulder. So I have that as a reference. So if I come through here and I take my fingers here, and then I look at my other side and I hold my fingers parallel. So let me just show you. Put my tools down. If I look at my line here, there it is. And then I look at my line here, I can look at the shape of my fingers here and here and go, right, that actually is pretty accurate. Now I'm going to stare at that point because now I have to comb it, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through there and say, right, I'm going to connect now from this part to this part. But before I cut that off, I'm going to go back again. I'm going to say, right, Viv, how's that angle compared? So that before I even make the mistake, which clearly one could, I'm over-directing forwards and cutting. So as I glide through here, you'll notice I'm taking very, very, very small strokes and gliding through. So I am going to repeat that methodology through the entire side of the hairstyle. So I'm now going to bring Max in. Let's bring our lovely Max in. And we are now going to watch together what we're doing. Over to you, Max.
All right, so you guys can see I picked up right along this first section. I've got just a like medium fine weave here. And I'm kind of in a weird position so you guys can see it on the camera. So this may be a little awkward, but just bear with me.
Well, you do well with awkward. You can juggle. You're very good at spinning around and doing the magic.
Sometimes.
Weren't you in a former life a pretzel stick?
Something like that.
It's so cute when Max has been trying to teach. You know, I'm a baby colorist. And you know what? I have to tell you, we're telling you a little bit later on. We've got some really exciting things to share with you as we go through this next hour. But we are launching a color program, and I'm going to be a student. I'm going to be the baby colorist. And sometimes I get really bored with the repetition of coloring hair. So one time, I think it was in front of Beth Minardi when she was coaching me, I got bored with the application of the glaze. So I opened the lid of the developing bottle and I just poured it on the head like ketchup. And I think she was absolutely mortified, but it was like, oh, I'm so done with this. Let's get this thing over and done with. So you'll notice with Max, his precision, his meticulousness in how he folds that foil. And I've got a lot to learn from the young Max. Okay, back over to you, Max.
All right, so I'm just closing this up. And, you know, sometimes you guys, when I am working on longer hair with foil, I don't know if you noticed, I actually had a little bit of my lightener loaded onto my foil so I could lay the hair in place, and it actually adheres. So then that way it's the hair stuck to the foil, but then I can have the ability to kind of reposition the foil. You probably saw me move it up to get it closer to the scalp. So basically, I'm just going to work around kind of like, I want to say circular, but it's actually in a diamond. But if a diamond in a circle had a baby, that's how we're doing this.
And Max, how different would it be in the final result if you were to do it as a circle versus a diamond?
You know, that's a great question, because I've never, so we may have to try this.
Okay. You see, maybe a baby colorist, so I ask sometimes daft questions. So let's talk about what I'm doing for a moment. I'm going to use a technique called the L technique. I come down and across, down and across, down and across, down and across. What that does is it gives me an internal shape and an external shape simultaneously. And what you can see with the razor and the movement that I'm getting is this incredible softness. So for example, let's talk about the mature client out there. Maybe she's saying, I don't need all of this hair. It's too much to manage. I want to go short. One of the dangers is going too short, because as we age, softness is our friend. So the softer, the wispier, the more movement, sometimes the shaggier the hairstyle, the kinder it is in terms of softness. So what you can see here is that I am over directing and connecting from my ear section through into here. So that is my graduation. Then I'm coming through here and I am doing my L technique. So this is my outline shape coming across, and I draw down, and it literally is down, vertical, horizontal, down, vertical, horizontal. And for any of our friends who are left-handed, you would be drawing a J. The way that I use my razor, I have 3 fingers on the top, my pinky is there. This is a classic way of holding a razor. You'll notice my thumb stays bent so I can glide and be graceful and super soft. I don't want to hit, I don't want to soar, I don't want to swing. I want my weight down. Now, excuse me, when we have naughty elbows, I always say in class, no chickens in class or no ducklings. And if the elbows go up, it puts weight into the hand and it makes you heavy-handed. So what I have my students do, and it's so funny because I'm watching you guys when I'm doing this, I say, right, towel underneath the armpit. Now the elbows got to stay down. Now you can't jiggle and swing and hit and do that, because here's the towel. And so now when you come through and you hold the hair in this way, the elbow stays down so that the hand can be light. And the moment I lift, I lose the towel. And then this becomes a very heavy action, which of course we don't want. Now, measuring, I measure all the time, visually as well as technically. So here I'm coming in and I'm measuring the shape, and I'm looking to see, right, where is my weight? Am I overcompensating? For example, when I'm coming through, there's my shape there. Here's my shape here. And guess what? I have a little bit more weight there, although I still have one more method to do. So I'm going to come back in, knowing that I'm a little bit heavier. I can see exactly where it is. I'm now just going to come in, raise my hand a little tiny bit, and come through like that. So does that make sense, my friends? Any questions that you have, please pop it into the chat. And so again, coming through, and this hand is my shaping hand. This makes shapes. So the shape that this is, a hand, I'm just going to do a blunting technique, which enables me to check my work. This shaping hand is giving me the shape of the hairstyle. So I do not think in inches, I think in shapes. And when I'm thinking about the shape has to be in balance with the bone structure and the body type. When I'm thinking about shape, I'm thinking how strong or soft is the look. When I'm thinking about shape, I'm thinking fashion. When I'm thinking about shape, I'm also thinking how feminine should this be? If I'm going short, do I need to compensate and make it maybe a little scruffy, a little undone to keep the femininity of the look? Do I need to take long strokes with my razor? Do I need to take tiny strokes with my razor in order for the hair to move and do what I want it to do? So you can see here, I have a V. I've got to be careful. When I over direct, I don't cut into here. When I over direct this, I don't cut into here. So my safety net is to bring this out, drop this down, and then when I come across, I'm making sure I'm not cutting the back section. I can glide through, and again, I can go super, super, super soft. Another thing that I always emphasize when I'm working with stylists is you've got to play with the hair. You've got to mold it into place. You've got to always be designing on every section. So we have a program called the Hair Designer Program. In fact, the new program starts next week. And in the Hair Designer Program, it's all about design. What is the motivation for you choosing that hairstyle? Is it just a habit that you're choosing that? Are you just blindly following a photograph when maybe it won't work for the guest? What is the motivation in your design? How are you doing your consultation? How are you doing your face shape design? How are you adding more sensuality to the look? And we go through all of that process and we take the most baby steps. So right now in the program that we're currently running, we've introduced the razor. Some people have used the razor in the past. Some people are terrified of the razor. Some people think it's an evil tool. And we're taking baby steps. And it's so amazing because the training that I do is a combination of online and live, like we're doing right now. And so the students show up for a live experience. I get to see them on the screen. The students also post their photographic end results in a forum so that myself and my team can look at their work and give them feedback. And it helps me as a trainer see the progression and know what I need to do to help and support and do my very best job in serving to make sure that that student, whether they're 10 years in the business, 1 year in the business, or we've had someone 40 years in the business, I'm serving them to help them gain more confidence, to increase their skills, to increase their speed, to be able to be in control of what they're doing all of the time. And by doing that, number one, I learned so much from that process, but there's always this incredible growth that takes place, which is absolutely amazing. So here, I have worked from let me just explain this for a moment. I'm just going to go in on a tight screen so you can really see this. I have over-directed this forwards. I have connected into my V. I have over-directed forwards, and as I'm over-directing forwards, now what I'm doing is I'm now walking that angle around into the center back. So that means my fingers pull away from the occipital bone, and I'm just going to come through here and dust those edges. Come through here again, fingers angled in, and again, dusting the edges. So this is a blunting technique, but I'm actually taking away hair here and creating some lovely softness within the style. So there's my weight. And what you're going to find with this hairstyle is it's so beautiful and soft and very, very, very feminine. I'm going to continue doing that. So now let's go back to Max. Max, how's it going? Oops, you're on mute, Max.
Oh, man.
There you go, that mute button.
So I outlined my first 4 sections. So then what's really key with this is when you start to move inward, right, with your diamond, you can see maybe that I started on this opposite foil, like probably about 1/2 inch in, and it went across, and actually that section touches that foil. And as I keep working through the technique, you'll really start to see that almost like diamond spiral pattern. That was the word I was looking for, Viv. It's a diamond spiral.
A diamond spiral. How much would you say of your foil work in terms of, having a fresh, modern look that doesn't look like everybody else out there is reliant on the pattern that you put into the hair?
Everything, honestly, is reliant on the pattern because, not all heads are created equally. And one of the biggest aha moments I had was when I was working on hair cutting with you, when I did the original designer program, and you taught me about bone structure, and you showed me those bones on the head and where those transition points were, where the head actually shifts from the top to the back and the top to the sides. And there would be times that, like, especially like if I was painting or doing a balayage, I used to just part the hair off at the highest point of the head into 4 quadrants. And then I was thinking I was actually painting my pieces in the crown, but my section was too high, so they would fall on the sides and I'd have no color in the crown. So really learning to section the hair based on bone structure. So you're actually placing, like, the color you want on the side, you're placing on the side. It isn't a one size fits all kind of sectioning pattern. There's a blueprint, but you're going to alter it for that client's bone structure and your color placement. That's your question?
So Max, very often, like in the haircut world, people can be scared to cut hair short, so they cut it too long. And sometimes the client's like, oh, it's going to grow out so quickly, or the client just doesn't feel it's right because often it's maybe too long for their bone structure. And very often you can see, and I've met them, colorists who are scared of color, so they tend to undercolor, and then the client's sort of scratching her head going like, well, where is the color? That fine line between the expectation of a little or too much, how do you manage that?
That really breaks down to your consultation and also using visuals. A picture truly is worth 1,000 words. So what I like to do is I use magazines. We carry very high fashion, Vogue, Elle, Harper's Bazaar, some of the European magazines. And, you can flip to just about any page and, find some kind of example of not just a placement, but the amount of color saturation. Is it a whisper or is it a scream? Because also how much saturation of color is also going to be relative to the amount of maintenance. And that is also something that needs to be taken into consideration within the consultation process.
Yes. And do you not think that very often the client sees a photograph and they tend to underestimate the maintenance aspect of it, and in terms of especially conditioning and treatments? Because I was telling my friends in the class this week, I just came back from a cruise that sailed from Manhattan to the Caribbean. And I was on a ship for 10 days with, I think, probably about maybe even 4,000 people. And it blew my mind. Each day I was looking, thinking, okay, well, let's see if I can find a really cute haircut today. Well, that didn't happen. Then I would go like, okay, let me see if I can find an amazing hair color. That was very hard to come by. Okay, let's see how much straw, dried, over-processed hair. Oh, well, everybody. It was like, oh my gosh, what happened? What happened to the conditioning treatments and et cetera, et cetera. So I think you make a very valid point there.
Absolutely. And, treatments are often very overlooked.
Yes.
Especially pre-treating hair. And I have a mentor that I've worked with, and he was really fortunate to work with a man named Sam Lappin, who was basically the godfather of hair color. And, you know, he's passed these pearls of wisdom on to me that Sam said to him back in the 60s. And one of them is, you can paint trash, but it's still trash. So often pre-treating the hair to the service is just as important as treating the hair after the service. And that just rolls right into home care too, because home care is going to play a huge role in, you know, your client's behaviors and how that color comes back to you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they say I'm not going to do well with the accent, but they say fried, dyed, laid aside.
So, and another one he shared to me was, for optimal results require optimal condition. So, you know, you have to know what you're working on, right? It's your canvas.
But I realized that unless you have a visual around you of gorgeous shiny hair, you go, wow. A visual of beautiful haircuts, wow. A woman dressed up, looking amazing, looking stylish, wow. If you're surrounded by dry, overprocessed hair, you start to get used to it and think that that's normal until a woman walks in where her hair is so well maintained. And it's the longer the hair, the higher the maintenance and the higher the home care program needs to be, and the expectation and the demands of maintaining hair that's older, hair that's longer, and it's appropriate for your age, for your fashion, for your lifestyle, for your personality. It's not, well, I just want to wear my hair long. Well, there are some people that absolutely should wear their hair long. And there are some, I don't care whether they're 16 or 60. That shouldn't be long. It's not great hair. Cut it off. Get into a fabulous shape. Get into perms. Get into wash and wear. There is so much scope and so much creativity. You know, I heard the other day that within 10 years, 50% of the jobs that exist today won't exist with what's happening with AI. Hallelujah. We are hairdressers. And until a robot can do what we do, we're going to be probably the last one standing. Hairdressers, if you don't value what you do, if you don't value that you are a game changer, you can transform lives, you can add confidence, you can give beauty to somebody, you can give people hope, you can give them an incredible image, you can care for them, nurture them. You're not just a hairdresser, but we all have to step up. And if we hairdressers don't take a stand and say, right, I stand for healthy, shiny hair. I'm only going to color your hair if it's going to add value, not turn you into a piece of parchment paper. I'm only going to do this because it's the right thing to do. If we take that kind of stand, we elevate the entire industry to a whole nother level. How many of you would agree with that? John is saying yes, yes, yes. Lou is saying very true. It's true, right? So now I'm going to go back to my haircut, right?
Can I just add something super fast?
Please.
All right, so I'm going to try and turn her. Actually, I'm just going to take her off. So now I've put 8 foils in. So now I'm left with a diamond on top of the head. Now, when you guys do this technique, you have a couple options. You can keep doing that diagonal spiral, or you could literally just place a few foils horizontally through the diamond. I'm going to go ahead and just keep working through my little diamond section in that spiral diagonal pattern. And it's probably going to be maybe 3 more foils. And I'm going to mute myself so I'm not making a lot of foil noise.
Okay, okay. All right, we'll let you do what you're doing. And I'm just going to bring myself in here 1 second. And just, again, show you the importance of this connection in the V. The over direction backwards, shorter to longer. The over direction forwards, coming through here. My fingers make the shape. It's not how high or low, it's the shape I make. Now, if I stand behind my fingers, I can't see that shape. So let me show you what it would look like if you weren't eyeballing it. You can't see that shape because right there. You can only see the shape when I either look here, because now when I look in sideways, I can see that shape. But if I'm standing directly behind my work doing this, and my eyeballs are looking in that way, I can't see the shape, I can't see the profile. So when you don't know how much to lift, you're standing in the wrong place because you can't see it. And it's so important to be able to, as I mentioned before, reverse engineer a hairstyle that someone brings in a photo to break down where is it short, where is it long. Remember that in hair cutting, you can cut hair horizontally, which is the heaviest way of cutting hair. You can cut hair vertically, which is layering hair. Then what I'm doing today is graduation. Graduation is roundness. So that means every angle within this haircut will be diagonal. If I take the haircut vertical, it becomes very light. I lose the roundness. If I make the whole haircut horizontal, it'll become heavier. So when I reverse engineer a hairstyle, I look to the longest point, the shortest point, and I look at the volume, because the volume is depth. And even though this is a flatter, it's not tons and tons of layers, it still has depth. And depth is the thing that changes the face shape. And that's really important. So, for example, we within our world have virtual live training sessions. We have Fast Track, which is for the hairdressers that say, Viv, I just want to get through a program super quick. Then we have our Mastery program, which is the hair designer program, which is truly a game changer. And that's really super amazing. And then for those hairdressers that say, Viv, I just want to dip in super light. I don't want to invest too much money. I just want to do some hair color, some perming, a little bit of styling, and some hair cutting. Viv Unplugged is the product for you. And what's new to Viv Unplugged is we've now launched a live with Viv Unplugged. So, for example, when you come to Viv Unplugged now, you'll do one live like we're doing now, where I get to see you once a month. Super, super exciting. So, what I want you to think about, what's going to be your transformation? What are you going to do for yourself so that you have more to give? And who do you want to hang out with? You know, which kind of club do you want to join? We're hoping tonight we can help you and serve you and give you some great ideas. But this is just a little taster tonight. If you want a deeper immersion for transformation, it means getting into a program. And in that program, that's where the transformation happens. So as I mentioned, we've got different products, the Fast Track, which has a live. We have the designer program, which is a live event. And so does Viv Unplugged. So if you're wanting to kind of immerse yourself in that, to be super, super exciting. And if you have any questions, all you need to do is call us. And if you go to our website, you'll see there's a little button there that says, you want to chat? What you're going to do is just click that button and we're there to serve you. So I just wanted to give you that inspiration. So let's go back to Max and see what he is doing. And if you have any questions, of course, fire away. So Max, how's it going there in the blonde world? Is she turning into a Christmas tree yet?
Really? I'm on my last foil.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You're the king of foiling. What are the mistakes that often happen when someone is foiling? Because today in our industry, we have sometimes a divide. You know, people who freehand paint, they never ever use a foil. People who use saran wrap, and they're kind of like, you know, just like in the hair cutting world, we have the hair snobs. Oh, I don't use a razor. And in the cut world, we can have, oh no, I'd never use a foil, or vice versa. Oh, I'd never use saran wrap. So talk to me about that, please.
So this is a wide and varied sort of matter of opinion. But again, you know, it's like when we're working with our manual dexterity, just like in hair cutting, especially with foiling, right? You know, when you're elevating, for instance, actually lifting, you guys could see, I was really lifting the hair high, not just for the cameras, but also so I could get my foil in close to the scalp. Also, weaving close to your parting so you don't create those little dig lines that naturally are going to push the foil away from the scalp, which can lead to bleeding. Also staggering your developer, especially if you're working with long hair and a lot of hair. You know, I tend to start with like lightener and 5 volume in the back, and then remixing small batches, each one with a little bit higher volume developer, so it processes at the same rate. You know, so all of those things. And then of course, like I said earlier, your sectioning pattern. So all of those things, just like with a haircut, your sectioning, your elevation, the amount of tension, your finger angle, those things all affect the hair color process also, especially with foiling.
How much would you charge for this service, or what would you recommend in terms of a window of service price?
What I do for something like this is I charge by the foil because it's, you know, typically under 10, you know, or under 12. But I also add, I have what's called a creative color application. So let's say it's $5 a foil. I put 10 foils in, it's $50, but there's another button on my point of sale where I hit creative color application, and that's $30. So it's like, so really it comes out to like 80. And, you know, based on your demographics and where your pricing is, you know, you could alter that accordingly. But that, you know, you are using your, you know, you're not just doing a rote sort of highlight. So you're looking at the hair and you're designing specialty technique. That is your creativity. And that should be, you know, charged for also, not just the placement of the foils.
Okay. So guys, I'm using a half round brush, which will give me half the volume. If I use a round brush, she could end up being a bit of a bubble. So I don't want that. And I use many different methods. So first of all, I put my finger here so I can do the fold. I will also do down and around. So come down and I'm going to turn. And I want to design it in such a way where I don't have, I call it the cobra head. I don't want, you can see it on this side, I want this to sit snug here, and I want the volume at the ear. So it's a diagonal line tight to volume, and that will always be more flattering than making this a big old round effect. And it also makes it obviously much more modern. So as I'm coming through here, I'm going to blow the hair all over the studio. And I'm going to start shaping around the face. And again, as I'm doing this, I'm looking at my shape, I'm looking at my balance, I'm looking at the proportion as I come through into my movement. And also I have to decide, well, where do I want that bend to be around the face? So for example, do I want lift here? So that I'm not closing the face down. That was too much. Well, that really took effect. So I'm going to just bring that back down again. That was a little too much there. Here we go. That really did take impact. Yeah? But sometimes that lift is important when the hair is moving snug around the face. So that's a very important part. So I'm going to carry on blow drying. And I just wanted to share with you something super exciting. And I know that we can have Max chime in on this. We are about to launch our Color Craft series. And we're going to have some amazing colorists. Max is going to be spearheading the course. And we're going to have 2 live events a month. So you can literally follow along with Matt and guest colorists, ask questions in real time. Because what we believe in is that passive learning is not where you go. It's doing that is the transformation. So we want our program to be that you are actually engaged in doing. There will also be boot camps that will be focused on very specific techniques. And of course, there'll be access to a color library. And we're super excited about it. Max, is there anything you'd like to add?
Nothing. I'm just kidding. No, I'm super excited about the color program. It's been a long time coming, and it is a labor of love. So, we're really trying to make it salon friendly, relevant to the kind of work that we do in the salon, but also creative so that it can, we can do the kind of work we want to do in the salon also as colorists, because coloring can kind of be like watching paint dry, right? You get into that. Cutting can be too, for that matter, because how many times have you guys been like, if I cut another bob, I'm going to go lay down in the middle of the street, or if I do another full highlight, I'm going to go take a nap in the dumpster. So we want to get you guys a really great balance of technical skill and also creative applications that can really benefit you in the salon and keep you inspired and keep your clients great.
Yeah, and what I feel is a huge need is that colorists, from my observation today, don't have the imagination and the training to do clever, creative color on short hair. How, isn't it amazing when you can take someone with silver hair and do peekaboo lavender into their hair and make them look really cool? And it's amazing how many ladies with silver hair are enjoying it, but they want something that makes them feel younger. And sometimes just a simple thing of a few foils around the face, a peekaboo, clever patterns, all can make the difference in somebody having a haircut that's okay and someone having a haircut that's amazing. In fact, I would love for Max to talk about, as you can see, I'm drying this hairstyle. You can see the color that he did do. And Max, would you like to share what you did and what you used for this little girl?
To the one you're working on, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was a really easy block color placement. It was basically 3 tiers. The first tier was just below the parietal ridge down to the nape. We colored a very dark gray. Then right along the crest of the parietal ridge, picture that like a horseshoe band. That was colored that raspberry color. And then the very top was bleached. And I painted that dark gray root, same color that was applied in the nape, and then stretched that out into like a light silver. So really fast, still a global application, but the placement is key. And, obviously color selection, this could be done. I mean, that one's very avant-garde, whereas this one's very commercial. But, your color selection is what really allows you to have that creativity and alter it for the guest in your chair.
And just imagine how boring this haircut would look without sensational color. Sometimes you have people say, and I think it's really ridiculous, oh, well, if you wear your hair short, it's going to make you look older. No. If you wear an old-fashioned hairstyle, it's going to make you look older. And, there's a sea of long hair out there, and I'm sorry, it's getting very boring. As I mentioned before, there are some people that absolutely should wear long hair. But people with long hair should be doing something with it. I mean, it's so many fun things. We have an editorial program, and it's so much fun to be creative with our editorial work. In fact, this weekend, we're doing an avant-garde by fashion 2-day boot camp. And I think the students are going to think, what's Viv going to do? I asked them to get pipe cleaners, because we're going to make a hairstyle with pipe cleaners. And we're going to be working with hair pieces and having just a lot of fun because I just want people to be fun and have creativity. It's amazing what happens when you release your imagination and you get creative. So I think that's very important. Max, going back to this hair color, how long did it take you to do?
Maybe 30 minutes for the whole application because it was scalp to ends. But again, it's just a global application, so it was super simple, super fast, and then 30-minute processing time.
So if you were to go and do this in a natural palette, what other options could you play with if it was more natural?
I would say like you could do a really deep golden blonde or golden brown on the underneath. You could still in that mid band where that color pop really is. You could do a brighter red or even like a burgundy. I love putting golds next to mahoganies, and then maybe a little bit lighter dark golden blonde or a beige blonde on top. So it's still that natural looking color still covers up, what I refer to like as her attitude piece, which is that band that's underneath, that's raspberry. So that's kind of the focal point of the color. And again, even when you're working with the cut now, it kind of outlines that graduation and really showcases it.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing that we're going to be doing in our color series is one of my favorite things, coloring into face shape. And I think a lot of colorists tend to forget the importance of shadows and looking at hair light and dark and what that can do for head shape and face shape. Would you agree with that, Matt?
No, not really. I'm just kidding. Yes.
These are cheeky emojis, aren't they?
I mean, someone's got to ham it up. We gotta keep it fun.
Absolutely. This hair is taking a long time to dry because of the porosity.
Well, Viv, did you happen to notice this transformation that happened on my mannequin?
Oh, she's finished, right?
She got a haircut. She got styled.
Go ahead, Matt.
You guys, I just want to show you guys, give you a little, I'm going to bring her in close and do a little spin. So this exact same technique, and all I did was I actually low lit this. So this is 10 foils of an 8N demi-permanent that just really introduced some soft dimension into the hair. And, I did it exactly the same way as I did our other doll head. And one thing I forgot to mention is the first part of the diamond I weaved, the middle part I sliced. So I kind of alternated back and forth. So weave, 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 slice, 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 and then a couple little weave foils on the top. And you can see it's a very, very powerful technique that really doesn't take much effort at all. So there you have it.
What do our friends think? Give us some feedback in the chat. Do you find this helpful? Will you be able to do this tomorrow when I get a guest? Can
Yes.
you think of someone coming in? What are our friends saying in the chat?
Well, they actually, someone wants to know what kind of blow dryer you have.
Oh, it's a cheap blow dryer. It's very good, actually. Very good. I like it's so light. It's really bring myself back in. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's a cheap blow dryer, and it has different size nozzles that you can put on it, and a diffuser, which is really great. And I didn't blow the fuses in the studio. I'm going to now just show you how to go in here and just lighten a teeny bit. And I'm just going to go to full screen so you can see the detail of this, and hopefully you're enjoying it. So that's that gorgeous curve that we saw in that photograph. So all I'm going to do in here, gosh, you know, the hair's still damp, gosh. I'm going to come in here, and the strategy with the thinning scissors is 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. We're going to be very, very, very mindful. Now, there is a razor removing technique I use, which is called butter knife. But with the hair being bleached, I don't think that's a wise move. So I'm just going to go in mindfully here. Now, if I was to use scissors in this haircut, I would have much more structure. So I would have to then go back into this hairstyle and do more detailing, which sometimes, now confess guys, how many of you get into your detailing and it ends up being a second haircut? Now, a detailing should be just a dusting through. I knew that this would need this little tiny bit, round, 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 round out, just because of the nature of it. Now, if this was to be layered, it would, the layers would be, I don't know, it just wouldn't work as well. Max, can you think of a way of describing how the layers wouldn't be quite as effective if they were short? I'm trying to think of a word. Choppy, maybe, is the word.
Christmas tree.
Christmas.
A shrubbery.
You know, my Christmas tree is still standing, and I can't believe it because I'm one of these girls. Okay, Christmas done. They get on with the year, but I've been too sick to take down my tree. Yeah, last night I was feeling a little feverish, and I went into my lounge and I looked at my tree and I put the lights on. There, I come down really soon, but I'm not well enough. Oh, my voice. Oh, I tell you, the vodka's working really well. Actually, it's disgusting. It's Lemsip. It's one of those Theraflus.
Take another shot.
And clearly, I'm keeping CVS going right now with all the pills I've been taking. None of it's working. I got really pissed off yesterday. I spent 15 minutes on the phone waiting to make an appointment with my doctor. It's like, by the time I'm done waiting, I'll be dead, right? It's like, how can we help you? It's like I've forgotten who I'm talking to. It's been that long. Actually, this is looking a bit chunky. You know, just can't bear that off.
There you go.
I'm getting a bit wingy, aren't I? I need a haircut.
I mean, can you just reach through the screen and get around my ears because they're kind of shaggy?
Okay. There you can see this gorgeous movement within the hairstyle. Look at that lovely roundness that we have. Look at how that's coming through and around. And obviously, in that photograph that I showed you, there was a tucking behind the ear just to kind of make that pop. So if I put some wax into here, let's find some wax, or maybe even an oil. I'll try oil first, if I can find it. Yeah, oil. Let's try a bit of oil first and see what that does. And if that doesn't work, we'll just wish we hadn't done it, right? Just a little bit of oil. Oh, so with me being sick, I came out in a rash. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I needed to have cortisone put all over me. But I came out and I said to my husband, I think I've got chicken pox, something terrible. So I said, please put the cream on me. And I said, just rub gently. And he's like rubbing away. And I said, you're not polishing the surface of the counter here. I said, rub with some feeling, right? So when I was really sick, he washed my hair. And he's washing my hair like he's scrubbing a pot. And he looked at me and I'm like, all my hair's standing up on end and it's matted. I went, darling, you're meant to just like get into the scalp. And I said, what's with, like, he's amazing in the kitchen, right? He's an amazing chef. So I think he just felt he was scrubbing a pot, wiping the surface. Meanwhile, it's my body. Yeah, a bit of trivia for you though. So here we go. A little bit of oil is making this sparkle. Now, what is oil going to do? It's going to give you separation. It's going to give you shine. And when I'm looking in here, I'm going, right, how do I make this even more piecey? I can come back in and do a little twist. So just come through here and twist this and slide through very, very, very mindfully. Don't want to go crazy because I want all of that gorgeous softness. Come back in again, a little twist, and come back in with that softness. So I think that the color looks really very, very cool. And the haircut's really looking really quite interesting and quite lovely. So there's our little girl. I hope that you like her. Do you like her, guys? I hope you do.
We're getting lots of love in the comments.
Oh, good. So, guys, one of the things that's interesting about my training is the experience of working together, where it becomes the interaction. It's amazing when I can watch you on the screen, like I'm watching this lovely lady. It's amazing when I can demo a haircut and then say, right, now we're going to recreate this look together. And whether it's a dress work or whatever it is, I'm watching all of you and I feel like the conductor of an orchestra, because I can say, Susie, do this, Jane, do that. Then we photograph the work, because the photography is really important to train your eye. This is some of our students' lovely work. You can see really, really great work. And then we celebrate our victory. And that's what makes my training really different to anything else that is out there. The blend of the digital and the blend of the live and following along, where we can guide you. So that makes it super exciting. So we have editorial courses. As I mentioned, we're doing a boot camp this weekend. If anyone wants to join us, you certainly can. And it'll be fun. This is my lovely students' work. I love showing off my work and my students' work. One of our lovely students, Danielle, got nominated for NAHA. And we can see here, lovely, lovely work. Misty's work is in here. Jacqueline and Vida's work. You see, I remember. You know, what's really interesting is that the average person will spend 2 hours on social media a day, which equals 30 days of the year. Just imagine if you could shave back a bit of that time and do a full immersion in training. Trade, right? Because I have to ask you, all the looking on social, which I like, just like you do, see some brilliant ideas. Is it transforming your business? Is it shifting a mindset? Is it helping you to step into the greatness that lies within you? Is it doing that? Because if it's not, then that requires change, right? And the best way for transformation is to be guided, is to be mentored. Clearly, you can go on your own and do these things. I encourage you tonight, take these ideas, play with them. But some of them may get you into trouble, because if you're not guided and you don't get the feedback, then you have a problem. So one of the things that I think is so important is giving the feedback. So the other thing that we do are live workshops. So we're doing a photographic shoot workshop this year in Manhattan. It's super exciting. It'll be in June. We have live workshops here in my studio. And I know some of the people who are in the chat today have actually been here. It's so much fun. I'm in the Hamptons. We do it in the nicer weather. Sometimes we even go down to the beach afterwards. If I don't tell you something funny, we went down to the beach one time with my husband. It was all ladies. And we went down to the beach. And as we're coming back from the beach, we did a picnic there, had a great day in class, did the picnic. My husband made great food. And there's just all these women with my husband. And this guy drives by and he stops the car and he goes, oh my gosh, how come you've got all these beautiful women? And my husband's just like this, you know. So then he does, at the time we had chickens and roosters, so that was very much in my husband's mind. So my husband's going, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. And he's just doing this cock-a-doodle-doo thing. He never said a word to this guy. So the guy gets out of the car and he says, listen, can I just have a photograph with all of you beautiful women? And I just want to like send it home and pretend that you're all my babes. So all of us women were making a fuss at this stranger. And my husband's still standing to the side doing cock-a-doodle-doo. And then we all left. Clearly, we've been drinking quite a lot, but we had a great time. And, you know, to me, it's about experiences. To have a great experience is so very important, because an experience you take with you, and sometimes you need the catalyst for change, which I think is super exciting. So I just wanted to talk to you about an incredible special offer. So don't go away, because this may change your life, right? If you came to me, and I'm just going to share this with you, to my studio, it's 2,500, 5 people, 2 days, immersion, transformation. Plus we do some coaching sessions that wrap around. But what we want to do is offer you something special tonight that is going to only last for a week. And the reason I said to my team, let's do it for a week, because you're going to need to plan for this, right? But we're only taking 5 people for each class. So we only have a couple of people we can take for this. So if you're interested in what I'm going to present, you need to email us immediately afterwards and say education@mackinder.com. If you want to just put that in the chat for me, Max, that's where you'll kind of say, hey, I'm interested in this transformation package. So there's the opportunity for 2 days with me in the here in the studio. Also, the package of who's sitting in your chair, which is the game changer, which is where we take you on the consultation journey and we literally change your business. Then there is the course of the color course, which we're going to be launching very, very soon, which is super exciting. Plus, there's Fast Track, our cutting system, which takes you through 7 commercial haircuts with a little fashion edge, and it's transformative. Plus, there are live events for that as well, virtual live events. The whole value of what I just shared with you is 6,500. You're going, whoa, Viv, that's a transformation, that's for sure. Okay, well, I've got some really great news for you. Are you ready? We're going to offer this to you, this entire package for $250 a month. What is that? 1 color service? 2 haircuts? Want to be transformed? So this entire package, a live workshop for me with 2 days. Who is sitting in your chair, which is a digital course with a live event every month. The color course, which also has a live. Fast Track, that has a live event, just like we are right now. The value is 6,500. You can pay $250 a month and get all of this. Now, show me in the chat, is that not an amazing deal? So if this is speaking to you and you say, Viv, I'm ready for my transformation. I want to up my game in color. I want to up my game in how I design a hairstyle. I want to up my game in my razor cutting and skills. And yeah, it'd be so much fun to hang out for 2 days and create, right? So if this is right for you, you have 1 week from today to gather the information that you need, like, flying to New York, which is where I am, and make that magic happen. So I hope this excites you. If there's anything we presented tonight where you think, oh gosh, well, I'm not quite sure. You've said a lot tonight, Viv. I'm not sure whether I should focus on color or hair cutting or styling or whatever, call us. We're here to help you. We're here to serve. I'm about results. I don't want just a digital product sitting out there that, oh, well, I don't know if they use it. I don't know if they show up. No. I only want to play with people who want results, who want to be better than they are right now. So if that's for you, just make a phone call. And if you like the idea of this package, email us. You'll say, I'm interested, I'm in, save my place for the transformation package. So how does that sound? Max, do you have anything to add to this? You do a lot of coaching with our friends. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, listen, if you guys need a coaching call, I also work as Vivienne's Director of Education and Technical, and I am invested in your guys' educational success. So if you have questions, you're not sure what product is the right fit for you, you guys can book a coaching call with me. All you have to do is hit that email, education@mackinder.com, or email me directly at max@mackinder.com. I'll get you set up and we'll work it out. But we're really here to help make you a success behind the chair. That's what drives us. That's what motivates us. So let's all do it together.
Yeah, and I see some comments about I'd love to do it, but maybe not ready yet. You'll never get time back.
Yeah.
Never. And the more time you practice for doing what you're doing that may not be as effective as you want, the higher the cost in the long run.
Yeah.
And even if you can say, well, I just want to take a baby step. Is there a small course I can take, Viv? Yeah, Viv Unplugged. It's our entry level. Very inexpensive, $29.99 a month. That's not going to break the bank. And at least you get into the ecosystem. You get into some training. You can shift some habits. But if you say, well, Viv, everything's brilliant. I'm on trend. I'm efficient. I'm making money. I'm blah, blah, blah. Then my question to you would be, what are you going to do to sustain that? Because life changes. The greatest people I've ever worked with, I've worked with the best hairdressers in the world. They're constantly learning. They're constantly investing. You know, it's like saying, well, I'm going to go to the gym. I want an amazing body, but I think I'll just go next year. Well, then what's going to happen between now and next year? Or I'm going to go to the gym, but maybe I'll just go once a month. You know, going to the gym and seeing the results is showing up on a regular basis. And I think what's really important is having education that's fun. You love who you become. You love that you feel more confident, more empowered. You love that you're giving more to your guests. Your guests are now your raving fans. And you know, when you think of the three things to grow a business, number one, you've got to know who your client is. So as we go on our journey together, we talk about what are your signature looks and how do you develop your signature style. So know who your client is. Number two, how do you do the wow factor? How do you give them an irresistible offer? How do you describe your colors? How do you describe the hairstyle where it becomes so irresistible you can't wait to have that hairstyle? And then how do you exceed an expectation? How do you exceed what they thought? Is it just slipping in a nice color treatment, you know, glaze that they weren't expecting? What is that something extra that you do that was unexpected? I just shared with you three principles in growing a business. But there has to be strategy around that. It has to be on purpose and a vision. And sometimes people come to me and say, oh, well, you know, I'm just not doing very well. I said, well, the first thing we've got to do is bring those shoulders back, get yourself into your power position and say, right, I'm here to learn. Then I have people say, well, Viv, I'm not really good at technology. No, we don't say that anymore. We're learning, right? We're all learning technology. It's okay. We're here to help you. We're not here to judge. We're here to help. I say, shoulders back. We're going to do it, right? And what I love is pushing people and stretching them because that's where the growth takes place. If you showed up for a class and it's like, yeah, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, then I haven't served you. My job is to stretch you in a fun way where you can see the results, which is why showing up for a live experience on Zoom, where I get to see you, watching the videos, photographing your work, I can measure your performance, and you can only measure success by measuring it, right? You've got to have a measuring system. So posting work, lovely front, side and back, the clients are raving. Clients are happy about the increase in your services because they see that you're invested in what you're doing. They're seeing the value. So when value is what your number one focus is, the money just comes. Because it's always about how do I give the best to myself and my guests. And that's what's life-changing. You know, it's an honor to have Max with us. He's talented, he's creative, he cares tremendously about every single person he coaches. So if you want to speak personally to Max, book that call. We're here to serve you. Max is in the salon as well. Max has this love with education. He's passionate about education. And Max is also behind the chair serving his guests. So he knows what it's like to be in the trenches. So I thank you for your time tonight. I hope that we've helped you. I hope that we've inspired you. And I look forward to seeing you online. And if for some reason you don't want to join us, I just wish you tremendous success. And I hope that in some point in the future, our paths cross. But as I said, don't let time be a reason why not to do it, because you'll never get that time back. Thank you so much, Max. I appreciate it. Any message for our friends?
Listen, you guys, being a hairdresser is like being an athlete, and education is how you work out. So come flex your muscles with us. We'd love to see you.
Great. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the love comments in there. And I wish you well. Please share this with your friends. Please do that. It's going to sit on YouTube. So please share. I had to do something funny. For years, I designed my Hair Designer TV, the original name, is 20 years old, my online business, before YouTube. And when YouTube came out, it's like, what's going on there? People are doing it for free. And I'm thinking, how can I live if I do things for free? I'm devoted to education and serving stylists. I need to make a living, right? I can't do it all for free. So I kind of didn't go into the YouTube world. And then I started to post a few things, and I changed my mind on my strategy. And now I'm posting some videos there, and I'm doing things very specific for YouTube. So yesterday I got a comment from YouTube, and this lady said to me, "You're really good." And she said, "Wow, I'm really impressed with you." She said, but how come you don't have 1 million followers? And so I thought, well, I'll give her the backstory. I could have been boycotting YouTube because I started before them. So I hope I'm not an old has-been, but anyway, you just move with the flow, right? So I thought it was funny. With that, I send you my love. I send you my blessings. I wish you continued success. Please share what we're doing with your friends so we may serve and help many other people. Thank you so much, Max, and have a beautiful night.
Thanks, Viv. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.